Hello, everyone, and welcome to Learn About Computer Science. Today, we're going to do the unthinkable, object-oriented programming. We're finally in this. After weeks of preparation, after weeks of hard work, after weeks of complete practice and dedication, we are to the stage where we do object-oriented programming. This series will take two parts. In this video, we're going to do part one, where basically we dive deep into the world of object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is something that we have been building for the past few weeks, and this is the most important topic of this course. So please stick around till we finish this, and we can be rock solid in Python. So let's get into it. So you may be thinking, I'm hyping this too much. This is Python, chill out. But this is basically what you do. Object-oriented programming is what you do in your courses in class, in your internships, in your jobs, in your career, everything. Object-oriented programming is everywhere, and you will use object-oriented programming on a daily basis. So this is super important. So basically, object-oriented programming, or OOP, means that we can code using objects, and we can solve tasks with multiple objects and think of objects like blueprints of class. We'll get into all this if you don't really understand what this is. Let's just go through the examples. So we have dog, house, textbook, computer. Those are all different objects, correct? Hopefully you know that. So dog is a object, house is an object, textbook is an object, computer is an object, right? So, dog can be an animal as well, but we'll get into why it's an object, but we'll get into it. But the thing is here, right? Your house is an object, correct? Your house has a name. Your house has an address. So, for example, how about we go through the textbook, right? You have a math textbook. Math textbook. You have a calculus AB math textbook. That is a specific object, right? But we make objects by instantiating a class. So basically, the class of that is a book. So a book is a class, so it's the main thing. And from that class, you're giving specific information for it to be an object. For example, your calculus AB textbook is an object of a book. We'll get into more of these if you don't quite understand. We'll definitely get into it, don't worry. So now let's go into thinking. So what all objects would we need to make a tic-tac-toe game? So in other words, what all components are there in tic-tac-toe? Well, in tic-tac-toe, there's a board, right? There's a player. There's a cell for each one. There's a game move. For example, you can calculate whether the X can be placed there or not. You have a move object or etc. You can have again, this is where your creativity really shines. You don't need to have game or move or anything like that. You can just have 3 objects and get the game done, or you can have 10 objects and get the game done. It's huge amount of creativity that involves in this. And there's multiple ways to solve this task. Like to make a tic-tac-toe game, you don't especially need these 5 classes. You can have many more or many less. It's all up to you. So this shows a creativity. And this shows the OOP thinking. So what all are in a computer? A computer has a CPU, it has RAM, it has a name, it has a model, right? Of all that kind of stuff, you just start thinking like that. So if you have a big task, right? Let's just say, again, tic-tac-toe. If your big task is to build a tic-tac-toe game, which we will not do in this course. If your big task is to make a tic-tac-toe game, then you should be thinking, what all objects do I need? So I'll need a board class, I need a player class, I need a cell class, etc. So that is OOP thinking. So try to get into that. So if you want to have more practice, you can just look around your room. For example, if you have a whiteboard has a pen, it has an eraser, it has a stand, it has a space to write. Or if you look at your bed, right? A bed has a bed sheet, it has a pillow, it has a blanket, right? So that is the object-oriented programming way of thinking. So that's little fun exercises that you can do while you're bored. So these are the attributes, basically exactly what I was talking about. The thing that an object has. For example, a phone has a screen, model, brand, battery, and a book has a title, author, and price. Attributes are stuff that an object has. Very, very important. That's basically what I've been saying until now. But the object-oriented thinking is to define these attributes and to define the objects needed to solve a complicated task, like tic-tac-toe, how we said the board, player, cell. You can kind of split those off into how many ever you want. So that is the way of thinking. And there's also behaviors, the thing that the object does. So for example, a dog behavior might include barking, cuddling, playing. A computer behavior might include running OS, watching videos, practicing code unlearnable. So all of those are behaviors. Behaviors are what an object does. Well, attributes are what an object has. Huge difference. Please don't mix those up. That's the most common mistake. Attributes are what an object has, and behaviors are what an object does. Hopefully the acronym kind of helps to differentiate both of them. But just remember, object-oriented thinking is you have one big task and you separate those into different components. And then in those components, you have attributes and behaviors. So next class, we'll start coding. So I'll see you there. I'm very excited to do this.